Throughout history there have been only a few people who have shaped a nation, rising their nation from obscurity to notoriety. This is the history of Shaka Zulu. Much of Shaka Zulu's life is drawn from an oral tradition of the Zulus and the diary of Henry Francis Finn, who was visiting the kingdom at the time. It is believed that Shaka was born in July 1787, the son of the Zulu king kaSenzangakhona, Kajama and Nandi. Nandi was impregnated out of wedlock by kaSenzangakhona. Thus Shaka was spurned as an illegitimate son. After Nandi gave birth to Shaka, she initially spent some time at kaSenzangakhona's corral before their relationship deteriorated and she was forced to leave. Nandi returned to her people at Ilanjini, leaving Shaka behind. Shaka's life at kaSenzangakhona's corral proved dangerous, and finally his uncle Mudley brought him to Nandi at Ilanjini. Shaka spent his childhood in his mother's settlements, where he was initiated into the Abufo MP, a fighting unit serving as a warrior under Dingiswayo. Though much remains unknown about Shaka's personal appearance, sources tend to agree that he had a strong muscular body and was not fat. He was tall and his skin tone was dark brown. Though Shaka's enemies described him as ugly, saying that he had a big nose and a protruding forehead, two prominent front teeth, and spoke as though his tongue were too big for his mouth. Many have said that he spoke with a speech impediment. When kaSenzangakhona died in 1816, Shaka's younger brother Sigujana became king of the Zulu. Sigujana's reign was short, as Dingiswayo, anxious to confirm his authority, lent Shaka a regiment so that he was able to put Sigujana to death, launching a relatively bloodless coup that was largely accepted by the Zulu. Thus Shaka became king of the Zulu, although he remained a vassal of Dingiswayo until his death in battle a year later at the hands of Zwide, a powerful chief of the Ndwandwe. After Dingiswayo's death, Shaka sought to avenge his death. At some point, Zwide barely escaped Shaka, though the exact details of this event are not known. In that encounter, Zwide's mother was killed by Shaka. Shaka chose a particularly gruesome revenge on her, locking her inside a house and placing jackals or hyenas inside. They devoured her, and, in the morning, Shaka burned the house to the ground. In the following years, Shaka had neither the influence nor reputation to force any but the smallest of clans to join him. So Shaka moved southwards across the Fukela River, establishing his capital Bulawayo in Kwaib territory. Shaka's reputation as a warrior earned him the respect of his people. He taught the Zulus that the most effective way of becoming powerful quickly was by conquering and controlling other tribes. His teachings greatly influenced the social mindset of the Zulus, who soon developed a warrior outlook, which Shaka then turned to his advantage. Shaka's military reforms transformed the Zulu army into a well-oiled fighting machine. He introduced the short stabbing spear, the Ikwa, though he probably never invented it as the oral tradition would have us believe. He discarded sandals for his warriors, believing that they slowed them down, and trained them hard, forcing his warriors to run more than 50 miles a day over hot, rocky terrain. The main tactic chosen by Shaka was to encircle the enemy with the bullhorn formation, which was made up of 3 units, the chest, horns and the loins. Discipline was brutal, as Shaka made it well known the price of failure, as a brutal fate awaited them and their families if they did not perform well in combat. Under Shaka's rule, the Zulu Kingdom expanded their borders and became the superpower of the region. Such power brought Shaka enemies, and he narrowly avoided death in the mid-1820s after Henry Francis Finn provided medical treatment to the king after an assassination attempt by a rival tribe member hidden in a crowd. Shaka's harsh rule made enemies among his own people as well as abroad. His demise came relatively quickly after the death of his mother Nandi in October 1827, and the devastation caused by Shaka's subsequent erratic behaviour. According to Donald Morris, Shaka ordered that no crops should be planted during the following year of mourning. No milk, the basis of the Zulu diet at the time, was to be used, and any woman who became pregnant was to be killed along with her husband. At least 7,000 people were deemed to be insufficiently grief-stricken were executed. With the Zulu Kingdom in turmoil, Shaka's half-brother Dingane and Mulangana, and an advisor called Mumbapa, assassinated Shaka sometime in September 1828. A diversion was created by Mumbapa, and Dingane and Mulangana struck the fatal blows. Shaka's corpse was dumped by his assassins in an empty grain pit, which was then filled in with stones and mud. The exact location is unknown, though a monument was built at one of the alleged sites. Historian Donald Morris holds that the true site is somewhere on Cooper Street in the village of Stranger, South Africa. The true figure of Shaka Zulu remains uncertain in African oral tradition, defying simplistic depictions of the Zulu king as a heroic but sometimes erratic nation builder on the one hand, or a deprived monster on the other. But despite the mystery surrounding his character, all have heard the name Shaka Zulu.